Hi everyone, welcome to day 2 of Algebra Online. This is probably this would be like your 3rd or your 4th day of distance learning, so I hope everyone's doing okay and hanging in there and starting to get yourself into a routine. So we are going to continue having a warm-up every day, and here is your week or your daily math warm-up for today. I'm going to give you 2 points. We're going to call point A, and that point A has the coordinates 1, 6. And then we've got point B, and point B has the coordinates 0, 2. What I would like you to do right now is to take a minute, and I want you to, first of all, write a linear function that passes through these 2 points. That's your first question. Your second question is to write an exponential function that passes through these 2 points. So write a linear function that passes through these points and write an exponential function that passes through these points. Take a minute right now. I want you to pause the video while you do this. Just like Ms. Chivik said on the last video, you've just got to make yourself pause it and actually work through it. And whether you get it right or wrong, we'll show you how to work it out in the end. Yeah, just make yourself work through it. Pause the video, and we'll come back in just a minute. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video and you've got your idea for these. Let's work through these together and you can check what you got. So I'll just write the points here in the corner. A was 1, 6, and B was 0, 2. And so remember, if this is a linear function, then it's got a constant slope. And a constant slope means that every time x increases by 1, the y increases by the slope, or decreases. The y changes by the slope. And so lucky for us, between these points A and B, the x is increasing by 1, because x goes from 0 to 1. That's the x change. And the y change that happens when x goes from 0 to 1 is that y goes from 2 to 6, which means y change is plus 4. And so if y change is 4, when the x change is 1, then our slope is 4. If you remember from our linear functions unit, then to write the equation for this function, we need the slope and we need the y-intercept. So we know that it's y equals 4x plus or minus the y-intercept. Well, the y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis, and at that point, x is 0. So you actually have the y-intercept right here. The y-intercept is at 0, 2. So y equals 4x plus 2 is the linear function that passes between these 2 points. I'm going to just put that over here. So then the second question was to write an exponential function that passes through these 2 points. If you remember an exponential function, you also have a y-intercept as part of the equation, but then you need a growth rate. And a growth rate is the amount that the y value multiplies by when x increases by 1. And so to figure that out, so already we know that the x is increasing by 1, so I have to figure out, to get from 2 to 6, what did we multiply by? Some of you might have seen that right away, but remember, if we have 2 times some number and it equals 6, and if we can't figure out what that number is, we can always just do 6 divided by 2, and it will tell us what that number was. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. It means that to jump from this point to this point, the y value was multiplied by 3. So 3 is our growth rate, or our growth factor, and 2 is still our y-intercept. So the exponential function is y equals 2 times 3 to the x power. And remember, it's to the x power because since this is an exponential function, it means every time x increases by 1, you're going to multiply by another 3. The y's are going to triple. All right. happy mathing today. Talk to you soon.